What's up, guys? I'm AQ Shipley. I played 12 years in the NFL. Jared Veldheer, also 12 years in the NFL. We played on the same line for a bunch of years together in Arizona. He played left tackle, right tackle. I've played center and guard. So it just makes sense for us to do a collaboration here where I'm going to talk about the interior three. He's going to handle the tackles, and we're going to roll through it. We're going to pick a different game each week, a different unit, a different line. And why not start with the Detroit Lions, who is, in our opinion, the best offensive line in football. So we're going to start with that. Any questions you have technique-wise, we're going to try and hit it, but this is how we would watch an NFL game day after on a Monday.
Yeah, the only thing that you guys are missing right now is us getting chewed out by the coaches. Like, we can't, like, that's the other element that's missing. And you know what? We keep it real, and we respect our fellow O-line brethren. So if we do, if we are critical on guys, which, it's nothing against the guy. Like, and all these guys have been coached enough to know that, like, they're looking at their own techniques and critiquing themselves, and they're used to being coached, and that's just part of being a pro is being critiqued, being coached. But our goal here isn't to shit on anybody and make someone feel like crap, or try to get clicks because we're dogging someone. So if we see something, we say it. We'll try to keep it real. AQ is a genius. He's way smarter than me. So I apologize for having a lower football IQ. That's just, he was a center his whole career. So it's ingrained in him. He sees the defense like he's Keanu in the Matrix. Just, he sees numbers trickling down the screen. Yeah. So, man, this is fun. I'm excited to do this.
Me too, man. All right, so let's jump into it. So first thing centers do, they got to identify the front. So as you see this, tight end right, you see Sam Laporta to the right. It's an over defense. Over means the three technique, who is number 97 on the screen, is lined up to the tight end, right? So there's your three technique. There's your shade. So they come out. You see Jared Goff. He's pointing to a Mike linebacker. So let's watch this thing run a little bit. We haven't looked at this film at all, guys. So we're going to see this as you guys are seeing it and just kind of roll with it.
Yeah, we're off the cuff here.
Sends a guy in motion. We get inside zone to the left. And this is cool, right, Jared? Because they get the receiver coming from the outside, and he's the backside crack filler. They send Laporta out to man, which creates that backside gap, right, as the receiver comes to fill on the Sam linebacker, and they are pushing.
Yeah, this is sweet. This is like the flavor of 24 right here, is sending someone in to fill the backside, and I love it. Like, especially as an O-line, like it makes your angle where you can just cut loose and just wash play side and not having to worry about getting back to guys or, slowing down. Like, look how fast Detroit is able to just come off the play.
Like, they just run off the ball. This is exactly what the good teams that run the ball right now are doing. They're just running off the ball. They're not worried about a Mike point. They're pointing to Mike, but they're all just running off the ball. Let's start. Start with the left tackle. What do you got from Decker?
Yeah, Decker's taking nice inside footwork here. Well, he's not taking inside footwork. He's taking tight footwork, making sure he's protecting that inside and just working a really nice drive. And he's winning there. And then look at Sewell backside. He completely cuts off Kenny Clark and gets underneath him. And like, as you're a backside tackle, like, it doesn't have to be like super sexy when you're cutting off a three tech backside. You just have to get in his way, not let him get penetration, and just clear that gap.
Agree. I mean, the biggest thing, right? Like, when you look at these guys, the defensive line has to play your block. So the faster you run and the more wide you get, they have to hold their gap. So if you look at Ragnow, this is an inside zone, but see how he gets his head front side right there? He's selling outside zone. So that nose guard has to play with him. And then it's just from there, just get your hands, get your feet, and run it. Glasgow does the same thing. As he climbs on the second level, just run, get your fit, run your feet. Backside.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Backside, Zeitler does a great job too. He's kind of just posting. I'd like to see more. He kind of just swipes at him, doesn't really give a ton to Sewell, but he's doing the right thing. He takes a good step, sets the angle. He's trying to punch and climb and get to a backer.
Yeah, I think Laporta does a pretty nice job too, holding space backside versus Preston Smith, who isn't ever super excited to play the run backside. But right, you can see he just holds all that space. And it's huge for the play. And then one more thing on the play side, when Decker's working that block, his biggest thing is just don't let that DN beat him across the face. Just basically hold him play side. Doesn't have to be like a crazy road grader block, because that ball is usually never getting all the way out there by him anyway.
Perfect. Love it. All right, let's go to the next one. Just so you know, as the quarterbacks tapping his ears right there, right? That's either going to be a can, an alert, something. They see something, they send somebody in motion, they're going to do this, that's going to eat. And he just waved off a receiver basically saying, hey, we don't need you to come in or we don't need you to go in motion. So that's typically what that is. But the thing is like, okay, you say, well, doesn't the defense know what that means when he does it? Because most people do, but there's so many, we call them dummy calls, right? So you do that and they think, okay, he's going to run away from the safety. And then they run a play action or they run something else because it's called in the huddle as a dummy call. Just a quick little note there. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Play action, right? Detroit runs a ton of zone. They run a ton of zone. So as you see the linebackers, they're downhill because the play before they just ran the shit out of zone, right? Now, boom, 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 boom. All those linebackers are downhill playing the run, and they're lost in the sauce.
Yeah, O-line, we love this when this gets called. Like, and obviously you get your opening script as professional players. Probably a lot of college guys do too. Maybe if you're in a good high school program, you do. But when you see a keeper as your second play of the game, you're getting excited. And yeah, it's fun playing O-line in Detroit right now. I mean, there's not a whole lot to coach on this one. Decker just needs to, lock on that four-tech there. But if he does try to fight across the face or tries to fight backside like that, you just let him go. It's not worth a holding penalty, and it doesn't really matter anyway because Goff's going to get outside, break contain, and get the ball out.
Big coaching point on nakeds and boots, right? They say elephants on parade. So you want them all be going one way to sell zone. So as you see that up front, they're all just running right. This is a perfect time to take a shot. So if you're Frank Ragnow as an uncovered guy, go take a shot on that guy just like that. And if you're Sewell, you're just running off the ball because you know he's going to roll out the other way. So beautiful. As you said that you love this call on the second play of the game, I like it on the first play of the game because I can just be aggressive and no, I don't got to worry about nothing on the first play.
Yeah, give me like the first 5 plays, just keepers.
That's right. I don't know if you remember this down in Atlanta, maybe 16 or 17. We started off first 2 plays of the game. We went naked. It was awesome.
Oh, that's a treat too in Arians offense. Jeez.
No doubt. All right, so let's take a look at this next one. So you see the back lined up to the left. You see the tight end to the right. So this is slide protection. So they're sliding left. The right side is the man side. So Sewell and Zeitler both have man blocks. Zeitler, aggressive, getting a nice jump set. Look at him just step on. See how he takes away the space of the D lineman? This kills defensive linemen's timing because they're expecting you to set back and think they got 3 steps to get their move. And when you step on their toes and take away the space, beautiful jump set, get your fit. Now just run your feet. You want to keep them to your outside. You never want to overset this. Center and left guard do a great job. They're sliding to the will. Ragnow is setting left. Head up over the center is the Mike. They are sliding left. That is the will, weak side linebacker. The back has anything outside to the left, and then he's just kind of the flare control to the left. I think I covered the inside. Jared, what do you got?
Yeah, if you look on the right side here, Sewell has a 7-tech to his side, which means that the D end is on the inside shoulder of the tight end. So he doesn't have to go far. You see, he takes a really nice set, patient with his hands. And then you look at Decker on the other side. He gets a little bit wide because he's going against a farm boy here from Iowa, their first rounder from last year, who's got a lot of bull rush, but he's thinking that he has a little bit of slide help there from the left guard, so he can be a little wider. And he ends up fine. But just the biggest thing on that for tackles is just don't drift when you don't have to, and then know who you're playing. Like he's playing a power rusher right now, and he can be nice and tight on his set, and then expect that rush.
Yeah, perfect. Same thing. Like I guess the biggest critique as an O-line coach that you would say, see how Glasgow right here, as Glasgow is helping Ragnow, which is what he's supposed to do. But the biggest key right here, you see him turn and lean in. That's the biggest thing that an O-line coach will be like, hey, just be careful with that because that tackle's expecting you to be in the B gap. He's a tad late. Now he gets it done, but he's a tad late. So you always want to keep your eyes there and never lean back inside so you can help both guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if this is like just a 3-step drop throw too, because it looks like Goff's drop's awesome. I mean, that's very O-line friendly right there.
Very. And that's probably why Zeitler jump sets, right?
Yeah.
Because you know that in the play call. All right, so let's go to the next one.
We got Skip. We got big number 70 reporting is eligible.
Heck yeah. And back going to the wrong side of the fake, or Goff going to the wrong side of the fake. But it doesn't matter. They're running some form of a play action. There's the fake, right? You see the fake. So we're getting from left guard over, basically. We would call this either like a ram sort or whatever, but they're doing some type of slide right away. And then the people who are in the man side is the left tackle and big Skip. See what Skip does. Does he go out on a route? Nope,
Oh, he's got a nice little aggressive set right there. I don't know. Maybe he is going out on a route, but it looks like he's setting the crap out of that DN.
He could go out on a route. So really, yeah. So again, play action, you can be aggressive. So left guard over, they're just kind of sliding. They're obviously, I don't know what backer they've chose to go to, whether it's the two linebackers that are fighting each other on the hash, or if they're going all the way out to kind of the slot over top of Brock Wright. But you get basically Deuce formation. You got two tight ends, right? But they're both going out on routes. So it ends up being a 5-man protection, but you're getting a little chip help on both before both go out as receivers on the route. And Goff is just hardly under pressure ever. I mean, they are just so good up front, right? Like Glasgow gets a little over his right side as this guy spins back. But again, there's no pressure. He's never getting touched, never getting hit. Makes it easy on a quarterback, brother. What do you got?
Yeah, great short set by Decker. Nothing there. And if you look at Sewell, he's nice and aggressive. He gets a little bit of an inside move by the D end there, but he's fine. You know, it's that occasion he had help on the inside, and it's, you know, better to be aggressive, keep the pads down, and make it look like it's a run.
All right, here we go. Oh, I love this. Okay, so you send that outside tight end, which is Laporte, you send him in short motion because, like, listen, here's the deal. They're about to run probably, I like this little play action off it. But they sell it like they're running like a little duo, right? Like a little tight end wing duo. But you would normally do this. You could normally quad block this, right? So you got a quad, you got Trey, you got Deuce, you got Ace to the front side, right? And so instead of doing this, now you send Brock Wright out. By the way, I think he's a false start. Did he get away with one? Looks like he did. He flinches early. Then they send Laporta as the insert, and look what it does. That linebacker fills because he thinks Laporta's inserting on him as they're getting all kind of action. Look at this. This is awesome, right? You get the right guard pulling.
It's almost like a trap. It's like a trap pass where that.
Yeah, it's almost like a wham, right? It looks like almost like a wham action, and then they run the play action off of it. Brock Wright gets a catch after a false start, not called. Gotta love that. I mean, Detroit's just, they're just light years ahead of what everybody in the league is doing right. They are constantly evolving, constantly pushing the envelope and what they're able to do. This really isn't even a play. All they're trying to do is get eyes and action, and it works. It works over and over. And Ben Johnson's incredible.
Shout out Steve Hayden, tight ends coach in Detroit, who was with us in Arizona as an assistant. Great dude. Happy for him having a fun season there in Motown.
No doubt. All right, let's go to the next one. Come on, let's get some runs going. Here we go. Okay, so this is really cool too, right? So they got obviously the strength way to the left, right? You got the tight end left. They got everybody plus front side. There's obviously some type of passing threat that way, but you have no threat in the front side B gap. This is what you call an offensive lineman's dream, right? You're trying to create angles. So often you are out leveraged. You are always out leveraged, right? And in this case, they somehow get them. This is obviously a beautiful game plan, but they get all the linebackers plus to the center and front side to the tight end. And then they're going to run a weak side zone. They can literally almost gap block this. Boom. Zeitler just kind of lets him go. Ragnow takes him over, climbs, and you got a hole. I mean, my daughter, who's 6, can run through that hole and gain at least 10 yards, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. And it's great. They even lucked out with that 2-high going across the center's face, just making it easier on the play side. And then watch on that B block backside, they don't even touch number 7, and it doesn't matter because just there's so much space front side that you can't cover it.
It's incredible. I mean, they're making it easy on their offensive line. You see it, with teams with fullbacks, because now you can put the fullback on the front side guy, and then everybody has easy blocks with leverage on the back, or front side back, right? And so when you get this with a single back play and you get leverage, that's just called being a good game plan. This is incredible.
And then watch Sewell's technique here on the play side. He's going to give the rusher here, or I guess the Dan, who is that's 91. So he's going to give him just a little bit of a kick to get him upfield and soften him up, so he doesn't have to just go drive him every time and takes himself right out of the play.
Preston Smith, he don't want to play the run.
No.
Yeah, the biggest thing, right? And as you watch Zeitler climb on the second level, he does a good job dipping and rising. That's what they say. You got to dip and rise and get under this linebacker. But because his hands are outside, linebacker's able to press, play over the top, still able to get a 10-yard run. This is a very efficient run, but if you're critiquing it, the offensive line coach is sitting here saying, all right, let's get our hands inside. Let's keep our head play side. Let's do all these things. The backside, you kind of get screwed a little bit, because as that nose goes back across, they're trying to work a B block between Glasgow and Decker up to number 7, Walker, right? But as you go on your path, you get kind of knocked off. Is what it is. Sometimes those things happen. Can't really do anything about it, but just try and fight through it. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, same one. All right, here we go. Edit that out. Okay, check this out. See how the linebacker uncovers to the weak side? You love this, because that's the guy that they're working. They're working some kind of, let's see, there's a downhill duo play, right? So you get two tight end wing front side. They're working. You get the deuce block up to Walker. So they're going to work heavy there. And then they would normally be working between left guard and left tackle up to 45. But when he uncovers on the end of the line weak, it's easy. That's the guy you're going to. That's why you got to have your eyes up in your stance, because now you just fan the backside. We call that fan. Centers one-on-one, guards one-on-one, tackles one-on-one. That's your backside. You get the safety filling from the backside. Receiver can't get down and make that thing, but it's definitely really good job by Detroit's offensive line. Look at the deuce. They get a little heavy in there. And then Montgomery, I mean, this is just tough down on the goal line, right, Jared? I mean, it's like you get all this pounded in.
Yeah, you got that safety firing, and no one's going to be able to dig him out. You can see the receiver tries to go in there, but that's going to be tough sledding. But yeah, I love the pad level by Sewell. Just, it's tough to dig yourself in that heavy on a deuce when your linebacker is almost stacked right over your nose. It's almost better to just try to high leg that thing in there to the guard and then get up to the backer. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. So that's a great point you just brought up. So I always say this all the time, right? Like, your technique is completely predicated based on the alignment of the guy in which you are working to, right? And so if you guys look at this screen right here, number 7, Walker, right? If Walker was head up on Zeitler 71 or to the left of that, now they can be heavier on that deuce block, right? But as you see Zeitler working this deuce block, he's fighting heavy into the 3 technique, because the guy that they're working to stacked over top of him. So he's probably going to be playing that front side B or C gap. And in this case, he hammers the C gap, and then Sewell has to get back out on it. But whenever you run this deuce block like that, Jared, right? Like, it's tough to have your shoulders working in on the deuce and then get back out on Walker and have any type of movement.
Yeah, the angles front side aren't great right there.
No. All right, let's go to the next. See what they do here. Inside zone weak, right? Start us off with Sewell. What do you got?
He's working a B block there, and he's got to go because things go quick in the red zone. Don't expect a lot of help from the guard, which he does a decent job kind of wheeling his hips, but he never gets his hat play side, which is going to hurt him. It's just he's not going to have as much power. I mean, he pretty much gets the job done-ish, but he just doesn't get a lot of movement on him. Just kind of washes him down the line. And then Decker play side, again, you're trying to hold space there. You just don't want that D end to cross your face. And, you just kind of patty cake him with the guy there, which is usually what happens on the front side of these plays.
Yeah, they're really just turnout blocks, right? You just don't want to get pushed back in the hole. As long as you can hold right there when you make contact and hold that space right there, you're fine. And then as they start to make your move, just keep running your feet. Then you get their movement, right? But
Exactly.
with the left guard here, Glasgow, I actually really like his technique here. Maybe a little heavy with his inside foot as he kind of crosses over. If he can take that right foot up a little bit more, but I like what he's doing here. I love using the shoulder because it keeps you low. And then you can kind of can opener up for Ragnow. As he can opens them, boom. Now Ragnow just kind of a little high, but I mean, he's so good at what he does. He's strong. He just kind of gets the fit and again moves him out because this thing is going to hit behind. Anytime you got a shade or a 2-eye front side, it's probably going to hit right behind it. So they hand it off to get downhill. Backside, same thing, right? I like the 1-2 with the step. I think his footwork's phenomenal. Just kind of misses with the shoulder a little bit and puts Sewell in a little bit of a bad position, but does a nice job getting him to turn his shoulders to allow Sewell to get underneath, and then does a really good job actually getting up on the second level. I like what Zeitler did there.
Yeah, Brock Wright had a great little cut off there for, I mean, that's about as good as you can get it on the backside as a tight end, just being able to cut off. And yeah, see, he's got inside tech and he does a good job holding his ground and working his cutoff. Kind of gets picked there by Sewell. And then Sewell's got kind of some crazy footwork on this one. He's usually pretty good with his backside footwork, but he just takes a huge kind of false step opening. He opens great, but he gets no width. I'm not huge on always needing width and depth. I think that just gets overcoached because at the end of the day, everybody moves different, and it's about how you can open, get on your angle, and execute your block. But I think he gets a little out of whack with his feet right here, and he just never sets the angle correctly.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that comment too, because I think that was one of the big things that most coaches always say to centers. What you're not understanding is you're putting your right hand between your legs and putting the ball between your legs, and then they want you to, oh, by the way, your feet are parallel, and then they want you to open and get width to reach somebody on the front side. Most centers, as you'll see Ragnow here, gets no width. He basically just steps back. But what he's doing, and this is what Jason Kelsey and most of the good centers over the years have done, is he's setting his hips on the angle to just run. Good point. Go to the next one here. Little pin and pull scheme, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of Sewell here? You think he's got to get a little bit more up the field, or you like that just kind of playing position?
Yeah, and then it's tough because you kind of got to know your personnel here. Like, just know the guy you're going against. Just watching 94 from the past, from the past couple plays, he looks like he's kind of a bait run around guy instead of just a hard penetrator. So I'm all right with that. His biggest thing is he doesn't want to get beat over the top and screw up that play because it is a pin pull play and he is the pin guy. And so he needs to pin here. He just has to, be careful with that left arm there because that's really easy for the ref to see there. He gets it out quick enough. I don't think he gets called on this. But it's tough. It's splitting hairs. I think he's fine, really. Just nice tight footwork here, get up through the guy because that ball is not cutting backside.
No, I love this scheme, though. This is my favorite scheme in football. We call this a G scheme, right? So you're typically going to get center and guard pulling as long as there's a front side 3 technique. And in this case, Walker, number 7, has walked up in the front side A gap. If Walker was back off the ball, they would probably pull Frank Ragnow here. But because he's up, you just eat him up, right? Like you just try and reach him and get on him as fast as possible. You get the pin and pull scheme right now. So you're going to get Sewell down, and now you're going to get Kevin Zeitler, number 71, pulling. But here's what's beautiful, right, Jared? We talk about this all the time. It's like over the years, tight ends have lost the art of blocking a little bit, right? Like, you have to have them block in certain schemes. But in this case, with a wide 9 technique, you bluff them. So let's watch Brock Wright. He's going to bluff him to get him up the field, and then Zeitler's coming right behind him to kick out Laporta, not Brock Wright. So Laporta is going to bluff him and then go up to the Sam. 7, Walker is the Mike. The guy over the tight end is the Sam. He's going to bluff the end and then climb on the Sam. Boom, get up. And then right behind, as soon as he gets up the field, look at that. It's awesome. Now, he does a good job of just kind of stonewalling and just falling into him and kind of shutting down the penetration right there. And then Montgomery has to bounce it, and they kind of get screwed a little bit, and they're a little out leveraged in terms of position because of that. But this end actually does a really nice job of stonewalling the pulling guard. Ragnow, great job reaching on the mic, backside. Oh, this is awesome, actually. Let's go, right? You start your B block, but then the Will linebacker plays back, right? You see that? As he plays back, he puts the brakes on. Now he's trying to get Decker to just play back as well. That's good stuff. Defense sometimes wins, boys. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. This is a great. I'm glad this came up because I saw this yesterday. Did you see this, Jared?
No.
Did you see this on the live? Did you see this on the live version or no?
No.
Okay, so what do you think's called here?
I'm guessing that they're calling Kenny Clark here encroachment.
Yeah, that's what they should be calling. Guess what they call?
Illegal false start.
Snap. They call it false start on Ragnow with the head movement.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So when they showed it, they said that he was too herky-jerky, too quick with his silent count. That's what they called this on. They called this on Ragnow, which is crazy because here's the deal. Every center in the league does this. If you go on a double count, which is exactly what they're doing, they're sending the motion. See the leg right there by Goff? See the leg? There's the first part of the silent count. That's silent 1. If we're going on silent 2, you would do that. Then Ragnow looks between his legs again, waits for a second leg. Every center in the league does this. This is ticky-tack, and they called this on Ragnow. Look at Goff. He's celebrating. They called this on the offense, and they were so mad.
Yeah, everyone's behind. You can see Sewell's like, you got him. And then
they overturned it, by the way.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah, then they got together. But originally they were doing this, did it, and then they overturned.
Come on, ref.
All right, here we go. Again, we got slide protection.
Beautiful set by Sewell. Just phenomenal short set, inside out. Great low hips, great leverage, good hands. That's textbook.
I'm gonna give you a slow-mo for it. There we go. That's good.
Just don't let that DN start his rush. I mean, you can see he just has Rashawn Gary completely locked up there. You can't do anything. Like, that rep is won within the first half a second.
So this is slide protection again. And to you guys watching, what slide protection is whatever way the center turns is usually the slide side. That's 99% of the time. It's going to be the slide side, right? And the other side is the man side. So as Jared's talking about this, Sewell has the man set. Right guard, Zeitler has the man set. They're both very confident in what they're doing, and these are both jump sets. Both good job taking away space, getting on them right now. Hate Zeitler's hands, but it's fine. Like, as long as he kind of – now, look, if you look at his left hand there, you see that, Jared? Watch him. Boom, he's outside, and then fights to get it back up underneath. So as long as you can do that quickly, you're fine. But I like the jump set. Left side, same thing. They're 3 for 3 on the slide. They're going out to who is that? 56?
And you can see 56. His body language doesn't say I'm rushing at all. So Decker's pretty slow here and throws on the brakes to just give more body presence and integrity to the pocket.
Yeah, and so technically, you guys see 5 Montgomery. Watch him hesitate with his eyes on Quay Walker, number 7. As he does that, watch this. Quay doesn't come right now. Now Montgomery leaves. Guess who comes? Guess who fires? That's technically Montgomery's guy, but when he saw that he didn't come right away, he got out on the route. At this point, Goff could go to him. But good job all around. I mean, listen, these guys, he's just back there playing 7-on-7 at the end of the day. Touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown.
All right. Kicking play. Back on off.
Nice short set by Decker there. I guess a little play action short set. Now, his play action short sets are a little different too, because you're a little more aggressive, but his control is great. Like, he's getting his feet in the ground great. His angle is phenomenal. Rashawn Gary's a good rusher, and he has a ton of space that he's having to take away from Gary. He does a good job working his hands, working his feet, and then he knows once he locks up with them, he can expect some kind of push-pull or some kind of edge move, and so he runs his feet. He does a phenomenal job there. Then you got Sewell on the other side. He's going down. Is Preston Smith in a 3-tech there? Or playing a 4-eye or something? I don't know. Yeah, he's in a 3, so they're in like a bear front. And so Sewell has the DN there. who is in a three tech, just takes a nice one power step down, but he's in control to come back outside with Preston when he works outside, and it's a good rep.
I kind of love what Detroit does a lot. Like they go play action here, and Gibbs has the will linebacker, right? But they a lot of times will just tell their back to bypass, not block them, let them go, and then just hit the back. And then you get an easy 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, right? Like
it's stealing, especially with like you got a back like Gibbs, like that's automatic. Like you want him out in space with the ball. I mean, it's just like it's like a long handoff.
Yeah, I mean, they just do such a good job with their play action. I mean, up front, they do a great job. They're always firm. They're always tight. They're always keeping guys on the line of scrimmage. But then if the backs guy comes in their play action, they just tell them to bluff them, bypass, look for the ball, and it's a quick 10. And then you're out in space and with the guy that you want to have the ball. It's incredible.
Yeah, I love how Ben Johnson stayed in Detroit. Love that he didn't take a head job anywhere just to try to get a Super Bowl with the Lions, man. My childhood team.
Hell yeah. Well, he's probably you better take a head job this year or that window might close. You never know. Like it's like
yeah, for sure. For sure. You
got to strike while the iron's hot.
Selfishly though, he should just stay there for like the next 10 years as OC.
Right. All right. So what do we got here? So we used to call this it's like a one back power, but you're pulling for the end man on the line. So it's a little wider, right? It's
it's almost like a counter mixed with power, but the back isn't doing any kind of counter footwork. Yeah, it's just, swapping the responsibilities of
that's right.
They probably just don't like the, it's not a great matchup there asking the tight end to go one-on-one with Rashawn Gary there at the point of contact. You'd rather have your pulling guard try to blow him up and have, Wright occupy him for just a second before he goes up.
That's right. Yeah, so this is typical. I mean, this is like what good coordinators do. You don't just run what the play says to do. This is called game planning. Okay, we hate our matchup. We don't love our matchup. Rashawn Gary, one of the better DNs in the league, right? You don't want him one-on-one with a tight end or an F, right? So how do we exchange just one little wrinkle, one little blocking assignment, and get the blocks that we want? So you put Brock Wright up on the mic, which is normally who the guard would be pulling for in a one-back power. You put him up on the mic, and then you take Laporta, the F, out on the Sam, who is exactly who he would be blocking. So you're only asking one person to exchange responsibilities. Instead of Brock Wright on the DN, send him through to the mic, and you get Zeitler kicking out. But again, he does a great job of bluffing him real quick just to get him up the field, hold the gap. Then Zeitler does a good job kicking out, boom, and there it is. Now, shorter man, right? So they're booking the will. They're booking the backside will.
Yeah, it's going to be tough too when you're booking the backside will like this, and when it hits up inside.
Well, and they're in that bear front, so they're obviously their goal was to stop the run, right? That's
which is going to be you go into a game versus Detroit and you're the defense. Your number one goal is always going to be stop the run. Like their whole offense has so much that goes off the run, just like you were saying with all their play action pass stuff. All that is predicated off Gibbs and Montgomery producing behind, arguably the best line in football. So you're thinking stop the run. That's why you see these bear fronts. When we say bear front, we just mean the interior three are all covered up by a defensive lineman.
Go back to that just to pause it there. Oops. There. Actually, that is it. So that's exactly what a bear front looks like. If you look at it right there. Head up on the center, three technique, two outside guys, a couple backers. Normally a safety comes down depending on how many tight ends or fullbacks are in the game, and then you just go. All right, see what we got now. Low influence trap. You like this, Jared?
I love trap plays. Trap plays just seems like you always have the potential for a huge hitter, but then you always have the potential for something to get thrown off just a little bit and have it be an absolute no-gainer.
That's right. We call these feast or famine plays, right?
Yeah,
feast or famine. For hitting it where it's going to be -2.
Yeah, like you can see Decker here. They're working this little fake deuce, and he gets tripped up on the D lineman, never gets the linebacker, and play's pretty much done.
That's right. And so we call this an influence trap, right? Because normally they would fake a deuce or show a deuce between Glasgow 60 and Decker 68. But what they're doing here, what they're trying to do is get 3 technique up the field because the trapper's coming. And then 60 is going to go behind Decker to try and get him flat and widen that hole just a little bit. And the D tackle takes the bite, gets up the field, chases the guard, widens the hole, and then you get the block by Zeitler coming across. Ragnow always does an incredible job. He's one of the best back blockers in football, and just always patient, always good footwork, gets his hands up underneath, dip, rise, run. I mean, it's too good. And then Sewell.
One of the things that could have helped Decker right here on the play side is if he just would have taken a little bigger split. You know, you don't want to give the play away with anything, but if you take just a little bit of a bigger split, you give yourself a little more leeway, because if he gets 50 here, like, this is going to be a positive play.
Yeah, it's going
to. And it does, and you can see it's just. I think he gets. I think he's going to get there if he just doesn't trip. If he doesn't have to almost put his hands on the ground, he's going to get there. He's in good position, but then he's out of whack and doesn't get him, because they're going to have everything they want. They got, 50's filling hard coming downhill, and he's going to just hit him right in the ear hole and knock him in, and it's going to be good.
Talk Sewell a little bit on the backside, why this is good. A lot of people see this guy and take that backside, but just talk about how this is a win every time.
Yeah, he's taking a great angle here. He's staying square. He's not flipping his hips one way or the other, giving a short corner or short edge to that backer, and just completely locks him up. He makes it look so easy.
Yeah. To those watching, though, the point I'm trying to make here is Walker, it looks like gets around Sewell, but the angle that Sewell takes is exactly where you want to lose your guy. When I say lose your guy, if your guy's going to try and get underneath or beat you on the block, you want him to take the furthest point of resistance away from where the play is hitting. So Sewell gets to the play side, and then there he goes. He dips and goes underneath. That's exactly where you want your guy to go. You baited him to take that easy way out, and then that's when you get the big holes.
Yeah, and he's in good position here on Walker. If Walker does try to fight over the top, now Sewell can just start driving him back.
Biggest thing we talk about on offensive line play is on backside cutoffs or frontside zone reaches. You never want your feet to cross over. If I can pause this right when Brock Wright makes contact, you see how his right foot is in front and crossing over his left? That's number 89 here on the right. And when you see that, when the defensive end makes contact with them, watch it stumble them, because you have no balance when you're crossed over and 1 foot on the ground. Boom, there it is. Look at it. It almost puts him over, to be honest. That's why you want to take a good first step, put yourself on the angle, and not cross over right there. Boom. Now he does a good job getting the cutoff, but almost ended up on his ass. Get the slide away from the running back. Running back is checking the backer to his side, doesn't come. Now he gets out. Sometimes those backs will chip right there to help out the left tackle. What do you got on the left tackle?
A little bit of a banana set going on here by Decker. And you can see why I call it that. It's in the shape of a banana, which is not great sometimes because you get soft with your outside edge, and he's retreating. And Gary's a power rusher first, and he's just able to work exactly the rush that he wants to work because he's not impeded at all with any kind of force from Decker. And so Decker's just trying to fight the bull rush and find his anchor. And you can see he just he squeezes the pocket back on Goff. And just something to help if you're a tackle here is try to maintain your angle through your set, staying as square as possible. You can see Decker's left hand is pretty good here. And maybe a little too far down the midline of Gary, but he's good with his hands. He's just very bad. He's bad with his feet in his set right here. It's just too much turn.
You were breaking down Decker that entire time. Probably didn't even see the other side, the best right tackle in football with a.
You know what, man? He just got his feet tied up. If you're a tackle, we've all been there.
We've all been there. It's tough.
That is tough. Hey, it happens to the best of them, man. And you can see, maybe just dragging a little too long off that 3-tech, but he's going through his set and he just stumbles on the right guard's outside leg, man.
Super wide set by Zeitler. Let me just kind of defend your tackle right there, because super wide set by Zeitler, right? So he goes way out to his outside shoulder. There's no reason to do that. Really no reason. Then when he takes the inside set, you'll see as soon as that defensive tackle takes the inside move right here. Now look how his right foot just widens, and that's what gets Sewell, because Sewell's actually trying to do everything he can. This is probably third down, I'm assuming. He's probably playing for it's like one of those things. He's playing for the twist, so he's dragging long. He's trying to get vertical. And then Zeitler's going super wide and then just kicks that right foot out, trips him. Boy, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Because I think Sewell's set's pretty good for where, I mean, he gets just a touch of width, then he gets back to, playing that TE twist. His hands are good. It's just, wrong place, wrong time with the feet there.
It's a helpless feeling. We've all been there. You get middle of the pocket and the guard trips me up, and I'm in a turtle position on the ground looking up at the top of the dome and saying, throw it, throw the ball.
throw it. And you're hoping that the other tackle didn't get squeezed like that.
All right, let's get back to a little technique here. Left guard, Glasgow does a phenomenal job here. I love this set. Look how quick his feet are. Look how efficient his hands are. 1, 2, 3. Hands are coming on 3. And he covers them up and gets to head up. That's the biggest thing you got to watch when you're watching a guard set down on a 2-eye or a shade. They have to cover them up, because what is the quickest way to the quarterback? Straight up the A-gap. If you do not get there, they will beat you, turn, get your hand right up the A-gap. And so he does a great job getting to head up and firing his hands. Boom. Shuts it down, anchor. Now, everybody else is meeting at the quarterback, but that's a pretty phenomenal job against Kenny Clark, one of the best in the game. Next play. Gotta love this by Decker, right? Knows he's getting a little chip help from Tim Patrick. Just go out and get him. Against a guy who's got no moves, too. Big Van Ness, just a meathead who's got zero moves. Only just power.
Take away the power. Doesn't matter if that guy can squat 400 more pounds than you can. If you're getting up on him, taking away his momentum, he's toast. And then Sewell's set was beautiful on the backside. Little play action, short set. And if you go all the way back to the beginning, you can see it almost looked like he sets right in place, but he goes outside foot first because he's got an outside shade, outside foot first. The second foot goes back down, and he's able to play with power. He stays so low. He doesn't rise up at all. He strikes, he punches, then he covers up. I mean, it's fantastic.
So good. And then we're basically getting 4 for 5 going to the left here, right? So Ragnow setting left, you get the right guard down, you get the left guard and left tackle, and they are setting for the nose guard, the mic, the 3 technique, the end, and anyone else who's out there, right? So you get 4 for 5. This is called some type of a sort. Then 5 Montgomery is taking the linebacker over top of Sewell to anything else outside to that side. And this is beautiful protection. They just keep everybody there. And how's that for a window? I mean, as a quarterback who's 18 for 18 a couple weeks ago, he's just sitting back there playing 7-on-7. And that's what you get. Little hump move. Ragnow gets a little wide, right? You get the double team because they're sliding to the will. Got to love this. Anytime you get that 2-eye, we call that a little sideboard, right? So Zeitler's sideboarding. For Ragnow, you can be a little bit more aggressive. So he's trying to get on him and just kind of beat him up. Look how strong.
Both tackles with just phenomenal job by both tackles right here. Like Decker just goes and eats up the space. The tight ends kind of have a little bit of body presence there, and he just goes and he's immediately on Van Ness as soon as the tight ends leave. So Van Ness is out of the picture. That reps 1. And then phenomenal footwork and hands by Sewell on the other side. Kind of sound like a broken record with Sewell, but man, he is so dialed in to his pass protection out of the play action pass game. Like, I don't think people understand that as a tackle, that is hard to have to come off the ball that aggressive and then maintain the pocket for what usually can be a long play. I mean, play action passes aren't quick hitters. Like, you have to hold up. So you're having to be aggressive, but then having to be under control and calculated. And Sewell does a great job at that. I think he's one of the best in the NFL at it.
Great point. 7-step play action. Second rep in a row, you watch Decker go get his hands inside, and you look like Van Ness looking like a little high school player trying to chop and get nothing out of it. And then you just got to ride the wave, right? Like once those guys make that outside move, you just got to ride the wave, just keep riding, keep fighting, keep fighting. Balls eventually got to get out. You can only get to your 17th option here by Goff, and he gets to the running back and still gets a positive play.
Yeah.
Start with you. Let's go left tackle. What do we got here? And
Is this going to be zone or a keeper here? Going to be another keeper?
No, I love this play. A little throwback screen.
Oh, yes. These are phenomenal plays.
Little play action. Then you get the back. Look at the linebackers as soon as he turns his back and turns back around because they think it's going to be play action shot, which is a huge play by the Lions all year long. Watch the linebackers, watch the safeties all take off, get into their drop, backs turned. I mean, they're doing baseball spins trying to get to deep center field. And as long as Van Ness would just take the bait just a little quicker.
You can see Decker trying to get him turned inside right there. But, yeah, he's – unfortunately, Van Ness isn't quick twitch enough to take that inside move. And then backside –
you're hoping that was Rashawn Gary, right?
Yes, exactly. And then backside, all Sewell has to do is just buy and stick that 3-tech.
This is really good by Frank Ragnow, right? So Frank Ragnow sells it. And the big thing you want to do, and the way this is taught, is, hey, you're going to run like you're running play action left. As soon as your defender fights over the top to play back over, because once they recognize it's zone and realize it's not, now they're going to fight to play over. He does a great job. Boom, lets him go up the A, and then gets out on the screen. And Kenny Clark's got nothing. I mean, he's literally 20 yards away from making this play. Ragnow gets out in space, slides, puts on the brakes, and still gets up on the linebacker. Stuff. All right, what we got here? Ooh, little gap scheme play action, right? They're making this look like it's duo. You see that, Jared? Oh
yeah, this is what was this one called? Kick two right here.
Right.
This is stressful. This is always a little stressful for the left tackle because you can see Goff is totally blind to whatever's coming off of the right side of the defense here. Decker works a short set, knows that he's going to have to hold up all day. So I don't know how this ends up turning out, but initially it's good. He's aggressive, and then he's going to try to run finesse around the hump here.
Yep, left guard does a good job. Gets his hands on. Frank Ragnow has the A gap to the backside Will. Great job. The Will fires. He just puts his clamps on, eats him up. 58 and 71, Sewell and Zeitler are working a deuce block up to the linebacker. They do a great job. Brock Wright does a fantastic job just kind of setting down. The key to this play, watch this, right? So St. Brown comes in. He's the insert player on the safety. Safety actually takes the bait, but look at the guy guarding St. Brown does a great job not biting on this and just goes into man coverage. They still get a positive play. Everything's positive with these guys. It's almost cheating how good they are. I mean, all right, so we've seen, Jared, I'm going to pause this for a sec just to talk about this because we have seen, I don't know how many plays we've gone through so far. Let's just say upwards of 20, right?
Sure, yeah.
And 90% of their passes have been play action pass. It's an offensive lineman's dream to not be sitting in empty protection, sitting back, trying to block one-on-one an entire game. I mean, they are just making it so easy for these guys. It's run game, it's creativity, it's, influence trap. It's everything is creating angles. I mean, we've seen 20 games. Both of us did not look at this game before we threw this film on. We wanted to be surprised on kind of what they did and just kind of talk through it. And so as we see this, it's influence trap. Everything about them is making it easy for the offensive line. And it is such a treat to see because for years and years and years, it was just like, hey, here's the playbook. We're going to run these plays. We're going to be better than the guys across from us. But we also understand the guys on defense are pretty damn good and they keep getting better and better and better every year, right? And so when you can make it easy, when you can bluff a DN for a tight end and then get up on a guy that's your size, awesome. And then, oh, by the way, your 320-pound guard's coming right behind him and he has no clue what's coming, or if it's an influence trap, or if it's play action, throwback screen, everything's building off of one another, and it's making it so much easier on the offensive line.
Yeah, and what that does, too, is it just softens the defense because the defense doesn't know what to do. And going into this game, just like we already talked about, their number one thing is to stop the run. So they're going to be thinking run first on every one of these play action passes, which is going to let Detroit come off the ball, knock them around, and just that physicality alone off the first couple steps is going to take them out of whatever pass rush move they thought of that they were going to work.
All right, let's get back. So, I mean, you want to talk about technique? I'll start here, and then we'll go to your tackles, and we'll come back to the interior. But as soon as I see this is about as good of a jump set as you could ever see from Kevin Zeitler. Watch the right guard. I mean, look how wide his feet are. Look how low he stays. Look how efficient he takes away the space, steps on the toes, going against a good defensive player, right? The confidence that this team up front exudes. I mean, that is such a good jump set. Gets his hands on him, rides it, it's over. Over. Right there, it's over.
Yeah, and it's like Sewell has a phenomenal jump set too. Sewell's jump set's so good that 55 has to go backwards to see what's going on in the play. Look at this. He like backs up to peek around to see what it is. I mean,
I love this move by Sewell, right? Like, you don't see this unless you got a ton of confidence and you're super athletic, because it's almost like a fake jump set, right, Jared?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, covering space and then getting back a little bit. Yeah. He's sinking. Yeah. He ate up all the width, and now he's just going to settle a little bit because he can. And he is very good at executing that. And then Decker on the other side is going to be aggressive with it all. He kind of loses Gary a little bit late on the inside, but Gary's probably their best outside rusher. And, actually Decker does a pretty good job sticking on this counter move here. Just with that hand placement, he was able to cover him up until he gets help from the guard. So, I mean, well done. Well done by everybody.
Yeah, because they're sliding to Walker right there, right? So Glasgow has the B gap. And now, again, as a center, I love the fact that he's sticking heavy. As a left tackle, you're probably like, where are you? Where are you? And eventually he gets there. But I think they got enough trust in each other now, where it's like, we've seen this a couple times where clearly they're saying, like, hey, guard, be a little heavy, help out Ragnow, but then, like, also, like, make sure, like, once you secure that, like, go get your tackle too, right? So, like,
yeah,
it's pretty cool to watch. Like, I don't think there's any panic ever when you watch this.
No.
Balls on the front side shoulder. I mean, he's sitting back there. There's not a sink, but by the time he throws here, how's that for a pocket?
It's fantastic. How about the fact that Jamison Williams just served his 2-game suspension and there was, like, no drop off in the offense either?
Might have been better.
Yeah.
He's spreading it around to guys.
All right, we're killing another play here.
Yeah, we're going can. So if I had a guess, now let's see if this is let's see if I'm as good as I think I am. All right. So we got Deuce formation, tight end left, tight end as skipper at right. So that's a good balanced Deuce formation with an I fullback. So this is literally Deuce I formation, right? And typically what this thing means is can. So you see the safety that's down over skip. This play should go left. Let's see if this is a zone left. Am I any good, Jared?
You cheated, man. You saw this one. No, just kidding. No, you definitely didn't cheat. I trust you 1,000% because you've seen this a billion times.
So that's
you're right.
System. I don't know if you ever played in the can system, but I played under Gary Kubiak in the can system. Now, again, they can get you by doing the dummy can and then running the play action out of it, or it could just be called dummy can in the huddle, and then you're running a duo play and just ignore the can, right? Yeah. But what the can means is you're going to call a play. It's going to be called like 18 can 19, right?
No, we had I was in that system actually. His in 2012 with the Raiders. Greg Knapp came over from his system and was the OC, and so we ran all that. Yeah, and just sorry to interrupt you, but it is, you have to be, as a lineman, just touching on that, as a lineman, you have to be so fluid in switching from one side of your brain to the other side of your brain and not even thinking about it. I remember the OTAs that year. I was like, man, am I like just flat out stupid? Because there was just so many times where you had to shift from one side to the other. And then it's like, oh crap, was it 18 can 19 or 19 can 18? It takes reps to get used to that kind of stuff. And,
that's right.
It's a weapon when you can execute it. And these guys are.
It is. I mean, it's always running away from the safety. You're always getting leverage. You're always putting the guys in the right position to block the right guys. And You're running away from the down guy typically, right? And so it is. But I mean, so many people don't realize this, right? Like if you go 18 and your foot, all your weight is on your left foot now because you're going to the right. 18 even numbers going to the right. So all your weight's on your left foot, so you can push and get out that way. And then they go 19, 19, 19, and you got to like kind of subtly switch the weight position in your stance, right? And it's like you don't want to give things away, but yeah, there's so much that can go into that. It happens quick because it's literally can, and then it usually goes to first sound, right? So it's like set hut, can, set, and then we're going the other way, right? So it happens so fast.
What happened on the play?
Question. Here we go. So they put the fullback on safety to the other side, right? Safety comes down to the other side. They put the fullback there.
Yeah, Decker's getting a little bit turned. He's kind of burying himself a little bit on that 3, turning his shoulders, which makes him a little bit late getting up to the backer. He just gets out leveraged a little bit because he has to turn now to get his hips going the other direction. And you would rather not have him get that extra 2 yards of push up towards the line of scrimmage and get him back where he is at linebacker depth and soften him a little bit. Then on the backside, Sewell, great cutoff, 3-tech played outside, just throw on the brakes and look for something folding over the top.
One of the hardest blocks in football for the center here is that zero technique nose when you're running a zone play, because it's really interesting because if you go too wide, they can backdoor it. And because you're literally over top of the ball, they can still make the play from the back door, right? And so you got to be strong. Ragnow does such a good job. He gets a little bit of width, then he gets that right hand down the middle, left hand on the outside, and he just kind of runs at the angle. They do a great job with Zeitler fitting in there, and because they're working a scoop to the backside backer. Front side, they're working that little kind of, what do you want to call that? Like a tight double up to the mic, right? Laporta does actually a really nice job on the kick out block, and then they're inserting on the safety.
Yeah, Laporta's block's fantastic right there.
Yeah, it's incredible. On his feet, really good, and he stays connected the whole time. Oh, who's there? Who's flying there at the end? Big Skip. Hell yeah, doing a little snow angel.
Yeah. Ooh, working a little sift here on the right side.
Look at this. They're bringing a safety and a backer, huh? So they're probably in a 5 down here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a 5 down, but then we get the sift because the back's out,
double,
right? Running some type of scat, right?
Yeah, double sift here by the tackles. And balls out quick. Technique doesn't have to be pretty by the tackles because the ball's coming out well with that. I guess if they don't bring that 6, the ball's not coming out fast, but usually there's going to be some kind of pressure here where the quarterback's going to get rid of it.
Yeah, they bring 6. So they did it exactly right. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
They blocked it exactly right. They leave the widest. And the ball's just got to get out, and it does. He knows he's going to take a hit.
Yeah, even though it's always scary when you're leaving the widest as your blindside rusher and he's your best rusher, or you're leaving the quarterback's blindside rusher as the guy throwing off of, and it's their best rusher.
Yeah, so we just finished watching, I don't know, 20, 25 plays or so, and you look at them, and it's no question why the Detroit Lions have the best offense and probably the best offensive line in football, and in my opinion, probably the best offensive line in years. Hank Fraley, who's their offensive line coach, absolute stud, former center, shout out to him. The tight ends are all doing a great job. Steve Hyden, you already gave a shout out to him. And it's the people, right? It's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's, right? We can sit there and say what Ben Johnson's doing is phenomenal. It is, but that group is really good. Frank Ragnow's an all-pro center. Sewell, all-pro tackle, right? Decker's phenomenal. He's well paid, right? And so you got Glasgow and Zeitler, who are damn good guards. I mean, it's the perfect combination, good group, and they're just doing it. They're clicking on all cylinders. If this group can stay healthy, they are going to be in it in the end. They're going to be in it till the end. And, it all comes down to Goff. The biggest thing when you have a guy like Goff, when he's not under pressure, he's phenomenal. You just got to keep him comfortable back there. And that's what you see. And as we watch this, we already talked about it, but it's their ability to make it easy on it. That's the beautiful thing that I want. It's not like you're sitting there and you're in a stressful game all game long. You know, they don't get behind 7 early, they don't get behind 14 early, and then they're in drop back pass mode the whole game and they're fighting for your lives and you're 1-on-1 and you're getting overloads and you're getting all the exotics. They don't get it because they stay on track and they do such a nice job of that. What did you see?
Yeah, staying on schedule is huge. Just so what you said, when you stay on schedule, you have the whole playbook at your disposal. Your game plan's there. Everyone just can go out and play with confidence. There's no kind of doubt or uncertainty that creeps in. That's a bad thing that losing football teams have creep in really fast and then they crumble. You don't see that happening in Detroit right now. Tons of confidence because they can go out there and they can execute their game plan. And then, if there is a situation where they are facing adversity, they have the skill, they have the guys, they have each other, the trust that they built through really bringing up the nucleus of this team through some really hard seasons to where they are now. Like they know what they've created, and everyone has tremendous buy-in. And I think if everyone just keeps plugging along, keep taking each week is a week to stack a W going into the playoffs. I think there's a good chance that we might be hearing some Jared Goff chants in New Orleans this year.
I like it. I mean, I'm a big fan of what they're doing. I'm a big fan of their offensive coordinator. I'm certainly a big fan of their head coach and the culture that he has brought to that city and that team. And I think they're the best team in the NFC right now. And until San Francisco gets healthy and they can challenge, who knows if they can. And obviously Minnesota's doing some nice things. There's some other teams, but I think through the first half of the season, they're by far the best team that we've seen.
Would you be okay with the Detroit-Baltimore Super Bowl?
I think as an offensive lineman, it's a dream come true. Right? That's exactly what you want to see. Well, the NFL, it's not all the fireworks that probably they're expecting, but it's a very similar makeup of teams, right? Like you can sit there and say Ricard's the fullback, right? But at the end of the day, he's a better version of Skip, right? Like he's the inline Y or F, right? He can also go in the backfield. There's so much similarities between what both those teams do. But again, football's been the same since the beginning of time. We're not reinventing the wheel, right? Like we're taking two teams that run the football, stop the run. Now, Baltimore's struggling on the back end of their secondary, right? But in terms of the culture and the makeup of what they want to do, they want to run the ball and stop the run, and both those teams are doing it. And oh, by the way, guess what? They're probably the two best teams in football. It's been the same place since the beginning of time. Every single team meeting you've ever been a part of, what's the keys to victory? The first two things they say.
Yeah. Run the ball, stop the run. It's
pretty simple stuff. So now is there some magic that can happen with Lamar and some of the creativity that they can do in Detroit, right? Like, yeah, they both have those elements. There's no question about that. But it starts with running the football.